All right, hey guys, as promised, my NFL predictions corrections because I was totally wrong about this whole week one of NFL football. I'm Twin Gemini with AWOL Gaming, and let's go. All right, so the first game, it was that primetime game. If you guys watched Thursday Night Football, you seen the Texans pretty much get handled here by the Chiefs. I, I predicted 38-28. He came out being 34-20. I did get the winner right with the Chiefs, but Watson, of course, threw an interception there. As you can see in yellow, I was definitely off. 253 with a touchdown, interception, 27 yards, and a rushing touchdown. David Johnson, I was almost right on there. 76 yards. He had 77 with a touchdown. Fuller, I think I pointed out somebody else. 112 yards with him. Reed only had 5 tackles, not really did anything for the defense. They did have a sack. They did not have an interception. Mahomes was pretty much perfect. Only 211 yards, though. 3 touchdowns. Elair, I told you, watch out for him. 138 yards with a touchdown. Sammy Watkins came up big, 82 yards, a touchdown. Defense Jones, he made an impact with a sack and a half. And then their defense had 3 sacks total with an interception. On all in all, what we learned, Texans did not look good. Next game, the Raiders versus the Panthers. Of course, I had the Panthers winning. Raiders came away with this here, and they looked pretty good. Brandon Jacobs, 93 yards, 3 touchdowns. I was thinking we have more yards and touchdowns there. Ruggs only 55 yards, not bad passing by Derek Carr either, 239. They did have a sack. Panthers, yeah, if you ask me, they looked decent. 30 points. Anytime you could hang 30 points, your defenses are in trouble. Bridgewater 270 yards with a touchdown, no interceptions for him. Christian McCaffrey 2 touchdowns with 96 yards. Anderson looked good in his debut with 115 yards and a touchdown. Defense Burrs didn't really do anything with 3 tackles. And defensively, I was wrong about the Panthers as they had no sacks or interceptions. Flawless game by Oakland. Oakland, Las Vegas. Next, probably the shocker of the week, right? Washington football team basically killing the Eagles in the second half. I actually looked at this game. It was 17-0 in the first. I was like, oh, I'm actually might get this right. Yeah, I was wrong. Washington, 27 points in the second half alone. Crazy. Haskins, 178. Touchdown, no interceptions. Barber had 2 touchdowns. McLaurin had 61 yards with no touchdowns. Defense Young, 4 tackles and 1.5 sacks. That rookie already making an impact. And for Washington football team, they had 8 sacks total. Eagles just looked off sync. Offensive line was not handling them well. Carson Wentz, 270 yards. I was right on the touchdown interception ratio, though. Miles Sanders was hurt. Boston Scott played. Goddard was the big receiver there. 101 yards with 1 touchdown. Cox only had 2 tackles, didn't do nothing. 3 sacks, no interceptions for the Eagles defense as they lost. Looking at the Falcons, Seahawks got the winner right. Seahawks with 38-25. What a weird score. 25 now. Seattle, Russell Wilson looked amazing. 322, 4 touchdowns, no interception. Carlos Hyde actually had more carries than expected. 23 yards with a touchdown. Tyler Lockett, 92 yards. No touchdowns there for him. Adams came up big, 12 tackles with a sack, made an impact on that defense. 2 sacks for the defense, and 1 interception. Matt Ryan, listen, Atlanta's offense looks like it always does. 450 yards, 2 touchdowns, did throw an interception. Todd Gurley did not have the day I thought he would. 56 yards. Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, by the way, huge days for them. Julio, 157 yards. Ridley had over 100 yards with 2+ touchdowns. Grady Jarrett, 2 tackles, 1.5 sacks for him. 3 sacks total for the defense, but they lose to Seattle. Next, the Bills and the Jets. Bills scoring less, and the Jets scored more than what I thought here, but Bills won the game 27-17. Darnold only had one interception with no touchdown. They don't know who's running the ball. Le'Veon Bell's now hurt, so Frank Gore, here you go. Jamison Crowder, 115 yards with a touchdown. Brad McDougal had 8 tackles. Decent impact, no turnovers for them. They did have 3 sacks and forced a fumble. On the other side, Allen, 312 yards, 57 yards rushing, and a touchdown for him, which he led the team with rushing yards, not a running back, so that's interesting. Diggs, 86 yards. Norman did not do anything on defense. Don't listen to me. He was not an impact. 3 sacks for them and an interception. I did somehow get that they were going to cause a fumble, but Bills win. Colts going to Jacksonville, another shocker for me. I thought the Colts would handle them. They looked terrible. Rivers looked like what everybody says he's going to be, washed up. I don't believe it still. I'm still not believing it, but 363 yards with a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Nobody running the ball there, especially with now Mac out for the year. I'm waiting for Taylor, the rookie, Jonathan Taylor, but Hines had the ball there, 28 yards with a touchdown. Paris Campbell, 71 yards for him. Buckner didn't really do anything, 6 tackles. And the total defense had 4 sacks, no interceptions. Minshew, 173 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions for him. Robinson, their running back, 62 yards. Decent game for not knowing who the running back was. Cole, 47 yards with a touchdown. Defensively, Josh Allen only had 2 tackles. I did get the sack rate. They had 1 sack and forced 2 interceptions with the Jaguars' victory. Next was the Bears and the Lions. Got this game right. Scores a little off, but Bears win 27-23. Trubisky looked good, right? And somehow was not expecting that. 242 with 3 touchdowns. Maybe Nick Foles backing him up. He's got a little competitive fire to him. We will see the rest of the year. But Montgomery there, 64 yards. Had more carries than Cohen. Jimmy Graham, I left him up there because I guessed it. 1 touchdown for him, only 25 yards. Khalil Mack, only 4 tackles. Wasn't really impact that I expected. They did come away with a sack and an interception, though. Matt Stafford, 297, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Pretty Matt Stafford day. That's what I'm going to expect from him now. Hopefully he's not hurt, though. He is a good quarterback, I believe, but that's around the numbers he should be doing. Adrian Peterson, 93 yards. Welcome back to that NFC North. I think he'll have a big game next week as well. Damian Amendola, 81 yards for him. Okunda, I didn't even see him out there on defense. I've seen him getting burnt, actually, most of the time, but their defense, 1 sack, no interceptions in the Bears' victory. Next game, the Dolphins and the Patriots. The Dolphins actually scored 1 point more than what I thought they would. Fitzpatrick looked awful. I originally thought Tua was going to start 191 yards with 3 interceptions. Patriots defense looking like they usually do. But I'm telling you, I would already start him. Tua would already be in my lineup. Gaskin here. Yep. Listen, they paid 2 running backs, Jordan Howard and Matt Breida, and they didn't even use them. Gaskin, 40 yards, 26 yards receiving. Parker only 47 yards. Jones had 10 tackles, no interceptions, but cornerback making tackles, okay, decent. 2 sacks for them, defense total. The Patriots only 21 here. I thought they were going to pull off 28. Cam Newton, 155 yards, 75 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Looked good running the ball. I don't like him doing that because of his age and probably get hit. Maybe he'll be smarter this year and not take so many. But Sonny Michel, 37 yards and a touchdown. Neil Harry, 39 yards. He did fumble. Dolphins did force a fumble as well. Gilmore had a pretty decent game, of course, 5 tackles with an interception. And defensively, they had a sack and 3 interceptions for the Patriots defense, looking pretty good. Going into the next week, prime time against the Seattle Seahawks, that will be interesting. The Cleveland Browns did it again. They did it again. I thought, since nobody's really talking about them, they may be good, but watching this game, making me rethink my decisions. Browns scored 6 points. Baker Mayfield, 189 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, or 1 interception, which the score you would think he threw a lot more, but only 1 there. Hunt and Chubb both had about the same. Hunt led with 72. Chubb only about 60. They need to figure that out. Landry, 61 yards receiving. Garrett only had 1 tackle. No factor. 2 sacks for them. Ravens looked like where they left off. 275 yards for Jackson. 3 touchdowns, 45 yards rushing. Dobbins, 22 yards. 2 touchdowns for him, though. And then Andrews, 58 yards. 2 touchdowns. Brown led in receiving yards, about 108, I think, but Andrews with the 2 touchdowns. Defensively, Patrick Queen made an impact, 8 tackles with a sack. They had 2 sacks, interceptions, and a fumble. I guessed all that right for the Ravens defense, but the score looking way worse, 38-6. All right, next we got the Packers and Vikings. I was wrong again here. Packers 43, Vikings 34. Aaron Rodgers looked phenomenal. 364, 4 touchdowns. Jones had 66 yards. We got Adams 186 yards with 2 touchdowns. A heck of a day for him too. Clark though only 2 tackles, and they had 2 sacks, which I was right on. Also only 1 interception. Kirk Cousins 2 touchdowns, interception, 259. Cook had 2 touchdowns, although only 50 yards. Thielen looked phenomenal, 110, 2 touchdowns. Danielle Hunter did absolutely nothing. And then their defense could not stop the Packers, 43-34. Next, I watched this game. It was pretty boring. I'm not gonna lie. It was Chargers 16, Bengals 13. No offense really from both of them. Taylor 208 yards, no touchdowns or interceptions. Eckler had 84 yards. Henry had 73. Joey Bosa there, 5 tackles with a sack, 3 sacks and a forced fumble for the defense with an interception. Burrows, listen, I really thought watching him from LSU he would throw it a lot better. That didn't happen. 193. He did have an interception with no touchdowns. Not one. Mixon fumbled. 69 yards. Just got a big deal. You got to do more than that. AJ Green, I thought he would have a great day. He didn't. 51 yards. Reader, 4 tackles. Their defense did have 2 sacks, but Chargers 16-13. Tampa Bay and the Saints got the winner right here, 34-23. Scoring's a little off. Brady looked out of sync. The whole offense kind of looked out of sync. 239, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Jones 66 yards. Nothing from Fournette. Godwin had 79 yards. Defensively, White had 11 tackles, and their defense only had 1 sack. Breeze did not have the game I thought he would. That is what impressed me about Tampa Bay was defensively. They hold their own pretty well. Was that defensive interception touchdown that changed the game really. Kamara didn't have a really good day either. He did have 1 touchdown, 51 yards receiving, 16 rushing. Cook had 80 yards. Lattimore only had 2 tackles, but 3 sacks, 1 interception, and a touchdown for the Saints D. Probably another shocking turn of events here. Cardinals beat the 49ers 24-20. Kyler Murray looked good. 230 with a touchdown and interception, 91 yards rushing with a touchdown. And the kid can move. Drake 60 with a touchdown. Hopkins, hello. I did not think this would happen. 151 yards. Simmons only had 3 tackles. The defense had 3 sacks. Jimmy G had 259 with 2 touchdowns, no interception. Mostert 56 yards, 95 receiving yards and a touchdown, as no wide receiver really did anything, or Kittle. Gilmore, the rookie, 1 tackle. They had 2 sacks and an interception. I did get the fumble correct. Next, primetime game, Dallas and LA. I fell asleep during that same. Prescott 266 with a touchdown. Elliott at 96 yards with a touchdown. Cooper at 81 yards. Defense out on Smith. He was out there. He was all over the place. 11 tackles with a sack. Yeah, defense pulled out a sack and an interception. Jared Goff looks like Jared Goff. 275, 0 touchdowns and an interception. Bryce Brown, I mentioned Akers, and Brown looks like they're going with him. 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. Woods at 105 yards. Ramsey had 6 tackles, and the defense had 3 sacks. All in all, what did we learn from this primetime game? That the NFC East is not as good as we think, or I thought, I should say. And the NFC West is better than what I thought, because the Rams win this game. And our last one, Steelers 26-16. In the beginning of the game, I was like, wow, the Giants are winning, but Steelers got their stuff straight. Ben Roethlisberger looked good on his debut back from the injury. 229 with 3 touchdowns. Snell Jr., 113 yards. Barely seen anything from Connor. Juju, 69 yards with 2 touchdowns. Watt only had 2 tackles. The defense had 3 sacks and 2 interceptions, though. Daniel Jones had 279, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And Jones led the team with rushing. That was the big thing. Barkley couldn't really get going. Slayton, 102 yards with 2 touchdowns. Peppers only had 3 tackles and 2 sacks. No interceptions for the defense. And our last game, again, one of the games, it was exciting, to be honest, at the end there, but you're the Titans. You should have won by more. Gostkowski, if you guys watched, missed probably every field goal except the game-winning one, which helped him big time. Tannehill, 249, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, looked pretty good against them. Henry had 116 yards, no touchdowns. Corey Davis, 101 yards receiving. Butler had 3 tackles, and Titans did force a fumble. Drew Lock, again, I really thought he could come out and look good this season with the season he had last year, but 216 and touchdown, no interceptions. Gordon, Philip Lindsay's now hurt, so Gordon 78 yards with a touchdown. Fant 81 yards. Kareem Jackson had 6 tackles, and they had a sack and a fumble as well. So the Titans come out to win with that game-winning field goal, 16-14. And look at my top performers, which I was not correct on any of them, so you guys know. But my good performers, the Cardinals beating the 49ers. They looked good. Cardinals are going to put in a fight in that conference. Mitchell Trubisky shockingly looked better than himself, and Russell Wilson looking better than what he did last year. My WTF, Wentz and the Eagles. What happened in that second half? Wentz did his Wentz job. Right, 2 touchdowns first half, comes out 2 interceptions the second half. That's what he is. Next is Mayfield and the Browns. He looks thinner. I'm going to give him that, but he does not look any better. And that's a disappointment. And then Fitzpatrick. Start Tua. Just do it. Just put him in there. He'll run it. He'll be fine. Worst case scenario, you're stuck with a number 1 pick again, and you pick Trevor Lawrence. This week 1, I went 7-9. So let's hope we have a better week. Keep an eye for week 2. I know it's Thursday already, so back-to-back videos for you guys that are listening. I am Twin Gemini with AWOL Gaming. Enjoy the Browns and Bengals tonight. Thanks for listening.